All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Berserk, episode 17.
Doldry's been taken.
Doldry's been taken, and Guts might be done with the Band of the Hawk.
Yeah.
He said this was the last time he rode with them. And it's oddly coincidental that his sword would break on the final battle with the Band of the Hawk.
Everyone has trouble sometimes.
Yeah, I guess so. But the thing is that Guts is also swordless as far as things go. He had a dagger when she was like, "Yeah, come at me, Boscona."
And for some reason, he decided to just sort of leave the legendary item, you know.
Yeah, I think Guts has just this sixth sense about bad juju. He's just like, I don't know. No. Because I think he looked at the Behelit, too, a little bit like...
Right.
You know, a little bit like... Because it saved his life back at the river, and he was conscious when Zod gave him the portent of doom. Yes.
Yeah,
'twas foretold.
Right, and Zod gave another little portent.
But he did not give that to anyone but the audience.
Right.
So we know it is infinitely more important than the one that he gave to Guts. Because as you must know, guys, when the author has to speak directly to the audience, oh boy.
Yeah.
That's not good.
And when adjectives are capitalized.
Yeah, the great eclipse.
What would just a regular capitalized eclipse be?
Nope. Like we had the eclipse in Avatar: The Last Airbender. It was like, ooh.
Well, that actually was a pretty good one.
Well, yeah, but it also ended up being used as it's a trap for the good guys, you know.
Yeah,
so all right, I'm ready. Yeah, it's basically just whatever the aftermath of Doldry is. So without further ado, let's get into it. Zod, you ominous bastard.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember when Man of Steel came out, and they had the trailer with Zod talking through the TVs? That was ominous. I feel like that's what Zod is, basically, in this. He's, like, not announcing it to the world. Like, he's basically quietly preparing the world for, like, his people to show up.
So put your glasses on, nothing will be wrong.
More like nothing will be wrong yet.
But yeah, like this is how, like, Zod is how you do, well, Zod Guts, like, that's how you do the yoked and, like, muscly, like, characters and still have them be interesting. You have them question what it is they want, or in the case of Zod, have that mysterious sense of foreboding where you're like,
he doesn't have to be prevalent in the story in order to be an antagonist.
Exactly. He doesn't, like, bluster and, like, try and show off how awesome he is. He just is, and then sometimes he'll just appear and say something creepy.
Yeah. Moment of glory. Ah, but it is a moment. It is a moment. Just a moment. Oh, that's right. Doldry, I guess, would be happy to be reclaimed back into the fiefdom of Midland.
Oh, and they might
be somewhere else.
This might be them returning.
Yes, they said Windhelm
or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Is he Superman posing or dabbing or what is that? That's oh my god. Commander Guts. Yes. Is he thinking about leaving already? Like, and he doesn't want to, like,
sour the mood of everything.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wow. Yeah. Meaning the dream is being made a reality. Griffith saw it. Yep. Oh, Griffith. Even the servant. You look lovely, darling. Lovely.
And it takes us an hour to get you into each dress.
That's actually sounds about right.
Yep, she's smitten.
Yeah, he's focused on his dream. That's a good kind of image. Even though the crowd is noisy enough, there's no way he heard her. But on some other meta level, this is where Griffith is like this is happening. This is real. Stay focused. Like, hone everything. Yep. And these people are doing their scheming to kill Griffith. Yes, after. Feast after. I would love to see a double blind where this guy actually tries to ascend with Griffith.
Oh, yeah?
And uses this as his means to subvert the royal family.
Be like, I drew out all the people that
are against
like
you.
disloyal to you.
Yep, from Griffith. Oh crap. Yep. Yeah. Have a meeting. Yes, good. Oh man, I called it. I freaking called it. He has leverage on him, and he's gonna manipulate him to make sure that things go smoothly in whatever comes next. Because we could see a huge power play in the politics of things from Griffith, like actually.
Possibly.
Wow, he really does look like he stepped out of a painting.
Oh yeah, white knight on a white horse with roses being thrown down.
Oh yeah, this is mythic level level stuff. Okay, we dance, we eat, we drink, and we scheme. Like, connections are made, forged, broken.
See, now they're all there.
Oh, whoa, they are! And they're dressed appropriately.
Because the promise was that they would be knights.
Ah, Corkus!
Corkus is just like,
he has a stupid feather in his hat! Yeah. Griffith's eyes are so stern. Be gone! This is neither the time nor the place. Offered myself for a dance. Phrasing. They all immediately shut up the minute he speaks. Griffith's gonna dry up from all their thirst. I mean, jeez, like... Oh, there, Corkus is gonna enjoy this.
he like shorted out for a second.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Why isn't Casca with them? Why isn't Casca with the knights here? I just realized that. Ha! His face! He's just like, ugh, this is my life now. This is incentive for him to leave for sure. Look at his face! He's just dying here. They even did the little sweat thing! Yeah. And these are the pragmatic guys. Yeah, these are the ones that kind of support him. Wait a minute. Interesting. I like that it's not... There's been a formal peace treaty established? Ah, yes, I'm glad they're bringing this up. Yep. That is very much a thing. Okay, this is the stuff. This is my jam right here. Guts. Looks like he's wearing Gaston's outfit, basically.
No. Gaston's a different Band of the Hawk member.
Oh, is that Casca? That's Casca! Holy crap, that's Casca! Oh my gosh!
Just like everyone else.
He's like dumbfounded. He's like... He's just like, oh my god, you're beautiful. Judo understands. There's so many bad jokes going through my head right now. I'm sorry. That is true. Oh. Oh.
グリフィスを踊りにでも誘ってみちゃ。
私なんか頃に村の祭りでしか踊ったことなんかな。そういうお前こそどういう心境の変化なんだ。の硬い場所に顔を出したことが
Because it's his last time. Did you get it? Like, it's so sad in some ways, but like, yeah.
それを見届けようと思ったんだ。
Yeah, it's so good.
お前やっぱり鷹の段を
King? Now, his dress is even more fabulous than all of theirs.
Oh yeah.
主催者のお出ましだ。先に行ってくれ。俺はもう少し進んでいく。
早く来いよ。
ああ、お前さ。
Yep, here it is.
いや。
Oh.
なんでもね。
Come on, Guts. Come on. Come on. You coward. You freaking coward.
俺がこの夜会に顔を出したの。これからここで起ころうとしているキャスカや鷹の段の連中は何も聞かされちゃいねえ。
Oh, okay. So they're bringing this up. Cool. So a ceasefire, probably for X number of years. Right. They want to attack, you know, have vengeance essentially.
Right.
Yep. You're gonna name a protector of the realm. Yeah, here we go. Wow. Whoa. Yeah. Yeah. It's real. It's real. Yeah. I mean, they deserve it. In some ways, all the previous things they deserved less than they do this. Like,
sure.
Not that those were not deserved, but that this is so much deserved.
Right. But it's still the idea that like all these nobodies, not just Griffith.
I know.
Nobodies are becoming
which is he knows where Guts is all the time. Oh, he smiles. The bird of prey smiles. Wow. I don't know what to say right now. I thought we had something a little bit dicier coming to bear. Yep, moment of glory. There it is. Roll credits. Okay. What's... He's caught between a bird of prey and a royal hen. Whoa. Okay. Crap. Who's dying? It's not Griffith, but who? Oh, God. Oh, God, no. Foss. Did he swap? Oh, God. Oh, anyone could die. Anyone could die right now, even the king. Holy crap. Holy crap.
anyone except Guts, basically.
Yeah. Talk to him. Yes. It's a ploy. It's a ploy. Foss gave him the information about the poison, so he passes out from drinking it. He goes down. Everyone celebrates a bit too early. They reveal their intent, essentially. And then Foss orchestrates their murder as Griffith miraculously recovers after the attempted poisoning. I'm a genius. That's what it has to be. Because Griffith is not dead here. This is the thing. They talked about Zod's prophecy of when his ambition fails him. Mm-hmm. Now, this is the thing. His ambition brought him here.
Yep.
But there was a leftover plot point, and that plot point is Foss. So what did Foss do? So the game is on right now. Like, the game is freaking on. Oh, wow. What if Guts is sent in to kill the king's you know, the queen essentially.
That would be pretty insane.
With his big sword again. Oh my gosh, guys. Okay.
Down.
Okay. Hold on. Hold up. Here's the thing. If he's poisoned, and he's actually poisoned, like he's actually in trouble, he could die here. Here's the thing. Griffith. Okay. I'm on to you, story. Here's the thing. There's 3 ways this can go. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Griffith
Let's
is
hear it.
first one. Griffith is poisoned.
Okay.
He dies. Like he actually dies. The Behelit saves him.
That would be pretty dope.
Really dark crap. Really dark crap ensues after that. But the thing is, Griffith could come back to life at like any point. This is the thing. The story has Griffith being alive in the future.
Right.
So on some level, Griffith can't really be poisoned. Now here's the thing.
He can only be mostly dead.
Yeah. So here's the other way he can be poisoned and it can be fine. Not the I developed immunity to iocane powder, but he's poisoned, but not with a lethal poison. So what he's doing is he's putting him into that bed-rested kind of like, state.
Someone made an attempt on my life.
Someone made an attempt on my life. They start an investigation.
Gotcha.
It leads to royalty. Gotcha. And Griffith miraculously makes a recovery.
Okay.
And the royal house essentially does not have the capacity to produce heirs anymore. So, if they can't produce heirs, they need to
if they actually executed the queen. Because how
if the queen is found out?
Well, yeah, I mean she's the queen.
Yes, but the king has supreme power over the king.
That's true, and women didn't have a lot of rights back then.
Let's run the consequences parameters of what could happen. She's found out, no consequences. Extremely unlikely. I would say 5% chance likelihood if she's found out that she did this and there's no consequences. No. I would say at the very least banishment. Okay. At the very least banishment.
Your mother did vicious, treasonous things.
Yep. Next level up, and this is something that I think is very likely, but she's reduced her social status. I'm going from likely now. I think banishment is the most likely.
Okay.
In a lot of ways. The next one I think is she is not the she's not the original queen. She is the stepmother.
Sure.
So the king remarried essentially, and she became queen. The thing is, she was granted the title of queen in the same way Griffith was granted the title of this.
She could always be Xerxes.
Yes, she could be. You're done. And if that's the case, the king might remarry, or the king might go, well, now I have to think about succession, and I'm in my old age and stuff. And
Casca.
Please no. And the other one is I think she would be executed.
Gotcha.
I do think that there is a 15 to 20% likelihood that she's executed. I do think the majority of it is either banishment or she's stripped of her titles.
Okay.
She's allowed to live in the kingdom, totally fine, but she will never appear in court again.
Now, that was 2 possibilities. You said you had 3 ideas.
Oh, the third possibility was that she dies.
No. With
banishment, reduce of titles.
Right.
With
Griffith.
Right.
Yeah.
The other one is what I mentioned in the credits, in that Griffith is not poisoned at all, and he's playing a game here.
Okay.
To reveal that there was an attempt on his life, but he would never leave it to chance with the poison because he had an in with Foss. So Foss put something in his drink.
But although that...
Also,
the potential problem with that is that Foss could just be like, okay, cool, I'll just say I put poison in there.
Why did they introduce the idea of Foss receiving a letter, most likely from Griffith,
being suddenly terrified and not saying anything about it?
Resolving that plot point? It has merit to be brought back into the story at some point in the future. The way that I think that this whole thing is stupid either way of Griffith being poisoned here, is let's think about it, right? We know, based on the way they've set up this story, that this court is a den of schemers and plotters and connivers and killers and all that.
Wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yes, exactly. Now, Griffith is ascended to the highest...
General.
A general.
Supreme
commander of all the armies of Midland.
Uh-huh.
And he dies immediately after. Why not use a long-lasting poison? There is literally no reason... to have a instant death poison.
That is one of those things that happens a lot in stories where it's like, you know...
There are plenty of poisons out there that take 6 hours.
Yeah, or a week, or, you know, whatever. Like, I mean, maybe not a week, I don't know.
Yeah, I think actually those poisons are a bit sophisticated for medieval times.
Probably. But yeah, they could do something where it's like, oh, okay, cool. That way, like, because who knows how good their physicians are at this point.
Yeah, seriously.
If he randomly dropped dead 6 hours later, they might be like, wait, what happened? Did he have a heart attack? Was it natural causes?
Idea.
Was he poisoned by something other than at the banquet, right?
Right. They usually are able to tell based on the fluids that are usually ejected from the mouth when the person dies as to how they died.
Gotcha.
Poisons eject very specific fluids sometimes.
Okay.
And it's like, and then the other thing you can do is you can open up the body and see if there's any corrosive, acidic kind of stuff that went through the
right. If they put a pill of, like, I don't know, like
cyanide, the cyanide
if it was a cyanide pill,
they wouldn't have cyanide, but you get my point. It's something that's extremely violent and fast acting,
right?
Then you could know that they were poisoned. The thing is that the people that set this up are powerful enough that I think they don't care about the investigation repercussions. They're used to being able to act this brashly. Or at least
the queen probably doesn't. Like some of the other noble people, since at this point Griffith is...
That's another thing.
Chief of all the armies.
Right.
That probably would be an issue for them.
Also, the queen acting with others puts a lot of problems on those nobles' hands because they could be easily thrown under the bus by the queen.
Absolutely.
And all they have to go is say, the queen made me do it. Sure, she did.
Yeah,
do you have evidence? No. Well,
she's the queen.
She's the queen.
Believe that?
Who's going to believe that? Yeah.
Right.
And generally, that's how these kinds of disputes would be resolved. You didn't have a judge or anything. You just brought before the king, and the king is like, no.
Well, that could be why Foss is suddenly getting nervous, because it's like, my fingers are actually in this pie.
Yes.
I might get burned. I don't know if that's necessarily like, okay, there is some actual danger here, because the queen could just throw everybody under the bus or, you know, whatever.
Yep.
That's one of the things I love about this. They don't show what the letter said. They don't show who it was from or anything. It's just, there's a letter, it made him scared.
It's not from the queen. We know the letter is not from the queen.
Sure.
Which makes it pretty interesting. Another thing that's a very real possibility in terms of story repercussions, right, is let's say Griffith is actually poisoned. So he's unconscious and he's dying. He's in a lot of pain. He's unable...
has to like force feed him the fairy dust or something.
Oh, that's a good point. The fairy dust. We didn't even think about that. Regardless of whether or not Griffith recovers or not, which he's going to. It's just a matter of time. Guts being not present in the room, I don't want to, because remember, we know that Guts and Griffith have to have a sundering at some point, right?
Yes.
This has potential to be connected to that.
That's true.
So
That's
Guts
true.
not being present looks a little bit, suspicious from this whole thing.
Although
also,
they did exchange that look before
I
Guts
know,
left.
but Griffith not being awake to back Guts up means something. Also, here's the other thing. Guts was planning to leave. If Guts leaves during this time, it looks even more suspicious because he was their second in command or what have you.
Gotcha.
It's pretty dumb on the motive scale.
Well,
but
no, that if anything, if they did suspect Guts, that would seem to be some. I mean, they could say, okay, he left, so that's an issue. But if it was something where it was like some sort of power play, right?
Oh,
Since he was second in command of the Band of the Hawk,
he doesn't gain anything from it.
He doesn't gain anything from leaving. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. I'm not banking on people thinking logically and rationally in this whole investigation here.
this just happened.
Yeah, and this is medieval times. People are stupid.
Sure.
No offense, but like...
Right. The witch hunts were a thing. Like
human beings have gotten a lot smarter, just in terms of critical thinking and like just problem solving in hundreds of years. And although this is a fantasy world, and we have people like Griffith being a commoner and somehow
being a tactical
achieving all of
and
this,
all that. Yeah. Right. They do a pretty good job of making it
what was in Foss's letter. That's the real question. Yep. How are Guts, Casca, and the Band of the Hawk going to respond to this?
Yeah.
Will the Band of the Hawk continue to be given their award? On some level, this is something that I think might be actually something interesting here. Let's say Griffith is so obsessed with the idea that he is fated to go all the way with this, right? I will have my own kingdom. Let's say he believes he can't die, okay? Think about this.
Okay, well, if he's been poisoned, it doesn't matter what he believes.
No. Let me think about this. You know, I was saying it's illogical for them to not use a fast-acting poison, right?
Sure. But it could be just something where it's like for the effect of the episode, like, you know, to have that cliffhanger.
Yeah. But I'm thinking, getting into this thing here. What if Griffith was like, use something that acts fast. My body will burn it out. Now, here's the thing. No. I'm going to crazy theory time, but listen here.
All right.
If someone who is just awarded this grand title by the king himself is killed right in front of the king's court, right after, moments after this whole thing happened, it is an affront to the king himself.
Sure, the king will be pissed.
The king will be super pissed.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. If Griffith is just going to survive, like he has the means to do it, maybe he has something that is a fast-acting agent. Maybe
he drank
Guts,
honey badger anti-venom. Like,
no, maybe Guts literally is like waiting in the rear, and that's why Griffith is like, you know,
to like administer something like super
quickly. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense because then he would want to be nearby.
Well, and also that would mean that he knew something about what kind of poison he was going to be poisoned with,
or just maybe he assumes correctly, just kind of like Griffith predicted what the governor would do. Griffith predicted what the nobles would do. He doesn't care who it is. He just knows there's a very high likelihood that I'm going to die.
I have some enemies, and they're probably going to come after me at this point.
Right. And maybe that's what Guts was thinking about when he was saying, you know, we know what's about to happen. And these people aren't, you haven't told them like that.
And don't want to bother them with this or whatever it was that he said, you know.
And maybe Guts is outside the party, because he's going to be like waiting for those people that obviously leave, and then he overhears something, so he's there to scout.
And then he's basically just going to be like, and they're in half. Yep. Play Fruit Ninja, like, with nobles.
I mean, there's a very real possibility that, like, Guts goes all cloak and dagger after this episode. Like, I mean, it's not as high of a possibility.
In the first episode, he does have the title of the Black Swordsman.
Oh, like he owns the night, essentially. Like he works in the dark.
I mean, he's not necessarily Batman, but he did have a black cloak.
If he loses those clothes and gets something a little bit more appropriate,
like a black cloak,
he could be Batman. But there's so many ways this could go.
Yep.
I like that in the moment when we see Foss nervous,
right? Even when the poison's being taken to Griffith.
The poison is being taken to someone. We then, as viewers, are suddenly thrown into the, holy crap, anyone could die. And I think I said it in the reaction, but in that moment, they made it very clear that it wasn't necessarily going to Griffith. It most likely was.
Sure. And if okay, this could be a clever thing, like, for Griffith to do. If he somehow figured out that he was going to be poisoned, right?
Right.
He could basically, and the letter was from him to Foss, and he basically convinced Foss to poison someone else.
Right.
And he did something to, like, either faking being poisoned or, like, slipped himself, like, a non-lethal dose of poison. Yep. He could make it look like he was also targeted to make him have an alibi.
Yep. And it would be Tudor again, you know, coming in with their assassins, much like the whole thing with Julius.
And that could potentially give him more chance to shine since he does so well on the battlefield.
Another thing that really works well is that Foss and him had that hawk eye stare down back a long time ago before the campaign started.
Yeah.
one of the things that he might have done right there is he might have begun working his mind games there, and that he has something on Foss. Okay, let's run with this whole thing as all being according to Keikaku for Griffith, all right? No, I'm serious. Like, this is Griffith. He's a genius. So he basically starts creating this narrative that there's a Tudor spy on their court.
Sure.
And right when the armistice is being signed, right, you have essentially the, like, oh my gosh, this actually could be crazy. Think about this. Okay. I'm about to go off the deep end here.
All right.
Griffith has Foss essentially start to spin this narrative of a Tudor spy, you know, intentionally by saving the princess way back when, you know, and then Julius getting killed and stuff. So the court is already maybe just a little bit worrisome.
Rattled, yeah.
Then Griffith gets hit, and it's like, oh my gosh,
they're getting bold.
They're getting bold. Who would benefit the most from Griffith's death? Someone that just doesn't like him, but actually it's Tudor, because he's now their great military asset, and this is vengeance for Doldry. Then this is the crazy.
So it's like them basically saying they sent the armistice as a way to like buy them a little time to marshal their forces. Okay,
and then in the next couple of episodes, Tudor attacks. Tudor launches a full-on invasion of Midland. Right? Griffith is using this all to Keikaku. Now, Griffith orchestrates Tudor to attack.
Gotcha.
He is now in full command of the army. He utilizes, you know...
I mean, he still answers to the king.
Oh, yeah. But the king says, you have full command of my army. Protector of the realm. I grant you Palpatine executive powers. Do whatever it takes to save us. And for the purpose of saving the realm, Griffith defeats Tudor. And the king, you know, just gets sick while Griffith
somehow
is gone.
Dies or whatever.
No, Foss is still his man on the inside.
Oh, he orchestrates the king?
And he orchestrates the king to get sick with something, like a very long, slow-lasting poison or something.
Okay.
And Griffith comes
back. Like some JoJo's level stuff.
Yeah. And Griffith comes back, and he has saved the day, but there's no one
and
left.
The king basically says, okay...
No, the princess essentially would take...
Right. And if she marries Griffith, then...
And then she marries Griffith,
and then he's king. Okay.
And
that would be pretty
the
insane.
thing about this whole scheming of events and stuff like that is that Guts might become aware of that Griffith is doing this. Griffith would essentially risk the entire country, like the regular peasant lives, the regular people. He's basically throwing their lives onto the scales because he weighs the value of him having his own kingdom as more than the lives of the average person out there.
That's not like a bonfire of dreams thing at that point. That's like a funeral pyre of dreams.
No, that's the thing, is that Guts wouldn't be able to condone this, so I'd say he would just leave. Okay. And it would be a convenient thing for him to leave as well. Just there. So that's your crazy crackpot theory. If this is all according to Griffith's Keikaku, then awesome. That would be insane. Okay. However, I think there's enough chance that this isn't according to plan that I just am at a loss as to what's going to happen next. So I listed out a bazillion theories because I hope one of them is right.
Now, one thing we do need to talk about. Okay,
what do we need to talk about?
There's all the stuff of the intrigue, the court, and all that stuff.
Right.
And that's great. I love it. I love it so much. It's so good.
So good.
But the sides of all the Band of the Hawk members that we got to see this episode, that was fantastic. From Corcus being all like, oh, yes, I'm so strong, I frighten myself sometimes. Like, to like Rickert just being like, oh gosh, everyone's looking at me, you know, and Casca, like, you know, showing up in the dress and Guts being like, who are you? Who the hell are you? Yeah. And the idea that you're asking, where's Casca? Well, it's almost like Casca was there the whole time, and no one knew it was her.
That's great. I really like that theory, in that, well, she was there, but like she arrived later, maybe.
Yeah.
Because the dress takes a while to get on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or maybe she was like debating whether or not to go at all because she would have to wear a dress to go.
Exactly. Right.
And then she finally shows up and she's like, ugh. this is awkward.
Right,
She's
right.
kind of
Not trying to draw attention to herself, you know.
Right, right. And
so
then suddenly she's swarmed with, like, you know, other, like, nobles and military men who are like,
oh, warrior woman.
Yes.
What's
like,
your name? Yeah.
Like, she enters and she's announced, you know, like, way back at the beginning of the courtyard and all that. And they're like, wait, with the Band of the Hawk. And they all shuffle over to her and like, wait, you're a woman, though. Yeah. Like, Casca as a name is not necessarily a man or a woman's name. Like, in my mind, I can't hear that name and go,
right,
that must be a woman.
It's not a name that I've ever heard in the real world. Anyways, so, you know, and it's not like one of those fantasy names where it, like, ends with 2 vowels and stuff, you know? So yeah.
Marie. Yeah.
So it could totally be a dude's name. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then they show up and they're like, but you're a woman. And she's like,
beautiful.
And she's like, wow, you have eyes. Wonderful.
And I love the part where she elbows Guts after he's like, what?
Boom!
Yeah.
Right in the chin.
And then all the noblewomen are like, oh! Yeah, like...
Good grief.
That was great. And then Guts being all like, go ask Griffith to dance and everything.
Yeah. The bit with Guts and Casca out on the terrace together, they're... My dirty little mind was making all these jokes because they were saying things with like specific verbiage, and I was just like
talking about handling swords and stuff.
There was quite a few. If you go back and rewatch that bit there.
Well, hey, this is Berserk. That's nothing new. Guts always talking about how he just likes to swing his sword this way and that.
Yeah. I was talking about with Casca as well. So,
right.
Point being though, that was a very sweet scene because. There's a part. Moment. Well, they've already bonded quite a bit, but this is them being comfortable with each other because they've bonded in the past.
Right. Yep.
Casca asks him, "How do I look? I probably look ridiculous or something, right?" He's like, "No, you look great," and she kind of goes, "Oh, great! Like that's like, that makes you feel good." But she doesn't do the. Oh, Guts.
Blushing, you know.
Don't say that, Baka, you know.
Yeah.
No. She just like, she's kind of like, oh, cool. Good. She's like, awesome. She feels all confident and stuff.
Yep.
And he's like, way better than all those like hussies surrounding Griffith and what have you. And she doesn't remark at that or anything. Nope. She just kind of keeps on. And
Yep.
There was this bit where you're realizing, whoa, Guts, calm down. Put your sword away. Like, good grief. Like, Guts was literally in the... Okay. This is where my... anyway. Guts was like... legs open, like one on the top, one on the bottom, and like really close to her. Kind of like this. And I'm like, wow, Guts, that's a flirting stance. Like, that's a, like, hey, I'm here, you know? And I was like, wow. I don't even think he realizes it. Like, he's so
probably
blunt
not.
in some ways that, and so dense in some ways that he probably isn't aware.
Sure.
And in many ways, I don't think Casca's aware either. So it's just like, I'm looking at these two idiots, and I'm like, do you realize what is happening? And I had it confirmed, essentially, when Guts wanted to say something to Casca, and I was like, oh. And he's like, no, nothing. I'm like, you coward.
Now.
It could have been anything.
It could have been anything. It could have been him saying something about, like, what the whole thing was that him and Griffith knew about, but no one else knew about. Could have been something about that, you know. But, you know, like, it really could have been anything.
Okay.
Here's one of the other things, since you were bringing up all these specific, like, little details of, like, phrasing and stuff. One of the things that I thought was really good that I didn't notice the first time I watched this was when... he was basically mentioning, like, yeah, I am going to be leaving, basically.
Oh, right.
And it was like leading up to it, you know, like he was like, I'm going to see this through, or you know, or something like that.
Right.
And Casca was like, wait, Guts, are you going to? And she didn't even say leave. She's like, she basically said, are you going to leave the Band of the Hawk? But instead she cut out the word leave, and there was just this pause. And it's like, ooh.
She doesn't even want to say it.
Yeah.
On some level, they might go in a story vein where Casca convinces Guts to stay. maybe like a little bit
because she did say something of like, you know, in your
mind.
Did
I say Casca convinces Guts or Guts convinces Casca? Whatever it was, I meant to say Casca convinces Guts to stay.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, because Guts did say something, or Casca said something to Guts about like, you know, so your mind is made up, or you know, or something like that. Like, you're not going to change your mind or whatever.
Yeah, and I could see that being partially the, like, maybe some of the problem. But on another vein of things, there is a world line where Guts convinces Casca to leave. Like here's the thing. If Guts is...
And then Griffith's like, I have to rely on Corcus now. That's civil war. That's how it happens.
No. But think about it this way. Guts, at the very least, cares about Casca a little bit. Casca, at the very least, cares about Guts a little bit. If Guts leaves, okay, and essentially Griffith's dream is fulfilled, Casca also doesn't really have a reason to stay. Well, especially when he ends up becoming betrothed to the princess.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing.
She has said that she's up for just standing by him and helping him, you know, fulfill his dream and all that stuff.
I still think there's like a 1 in 4 chance that Guts basically says, Casca, I totally know where your heart is, but like you are like maybe we see her in a very like kind of vulnerable state again where she's realizing where she's lying to herself, you know, like that she's lying to herself and that she's okay with standing by his side forever and just helping him without anything in return. And if Guts is able to speak to that part of her that's lamenting the current state of things, then I could very well see him convincing her to leave with him. I do see a more likely thing where Casca convinces Guts to stay.
Okay.
Possibly. But with everyone getting knighted potentially and with the peerage and all that,
like I mean the ceremony might be delayed a little bit. This whole thing that happened.
There's quite a few episodes left too.
Yes.
Like now that I think about it, there's almost too many episodes left. Aren't there 25?
25. So we've got 18, 19, 20. So 8 left.
Yeah. And we have no war with Tudor.
That is,
So
true.
What's going to happen in at least the next, like, 4 or 5 episodes?
It's a great
Anyone's
question.
guess. I really do like my crackpot theory more and more that I think about it. About Griffith orchestrating everything since he left for the conquest. Like, everything. And the letter was just him saying, I'm back. We're going to do things now.
Oh, like, it's time.
Foss is just like...
You may have hoped I would die, you know, out on the battlefield, but no, I'm back.
Right. Basically all Griffith, I think, would have to do on some level is... Remember how Julius worked with Foss in some way? Okay.
I mean, Foss was kind of just sort of seeded the idea and made Julius think it was his own. You know?
Well, here's the thing: the level of authority, in some ways, I think in this medieval world, would give them the influence to declare basically that someone is a threat to the realm. So if Griffith being granted this much power, you know, has the ability to then go. So Foss was the orchestrator behind Julius's death.
Right, and have his word just become truth.
Law. Yeah. Foss might be just like someone's got a knife to his balls, basically.
Right.
He's just like, please, I know I'm gonna live after this, but like, at least let me keep most of myself, you know, like. I don't see a world line where Foss comes out of this okay.
Gotcha.
But I can't believe Griffith would die here. So I'm hyped. I'm so hyped, dude. Like,
yeah,
I love this
good
stuff.
show, isn't it?
It's a good show.
Yeah.
But this is one of those classic cliffhangers that I don't think they've really had in Berserk. Where it's like the soap opera, you know,
right, where
it's like,
oh, this is going great,
slow motion, I'm dying,
and then what? Yeah,
yep, with like quick showing little shots of everyone around the room as the thing happens,
right?
You know,
yeah.
Oh man, good stuff, guys. Well, yeah, if you want to watch the next episode's reaction right now, though, go check out that link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there, and any kind of support comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us about stories or whatever. And if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob,
and we'll see you all
next time.